Hello, happy Friday and welcome to Notts Today with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you so much for joining us. Have you enjoyed the weather today? I know it's been a little bit cloudy, but still very, very warm. Nearly the weekend. But of course, before we get there, here's what's on today's show. First, we're hearing what Reform UK plans to do to balance the books at Notts County Council.
It'll look at everything, whether it be contracts, it'll look at the old caboodle, if you like, the old shooting match. We're going to look at every single department.
We'll have more on that shortly. Plus, we'll be talking over what a big meeting next week could mean for Nottingham Forest City Ground redevelopment. The club's planning application is due back in front of Rushcliffe councillors 3 years after they were first approved by the same authority. We're going to be chatting over what that means for Forest in just a moment. We're also going to be hearing how a mini police programme is helping thousands of school children across Nottinghamshire.
So it's really important for children's confidence development because they have more of awareness of situations, and then they will know what to do in situations in the future. They know about different areas of crime, different areas of how police work in the community.
And have you ever wondered how much that random family heirloom in your house might be worth, but just never checked it out? Well, now is your chance to have it valued by the brilliant James Lewis of BBC's Bargain Hunt as part of a project to support Age UK Notts. And in sport, we're going to be getting some reaction from the Notts Outlaws after yet another disappointing Vitality Blast defeat.
Coming in with the ball, we know we assessed the wicket, knew what we wanted to try and do. We executed it in patches, but probably not the full 20 or however many we ended up bowling.
All that and loads more coming up just for you this Friday afternoon. But first, Nottinghamshire County Council leader Mick Barton has shared Reform's latest policies and financial plans in an interview earlier today. He expressed that all avenues would be explored when deciding how to allocate the county's budget. Take a look.
It'll look at everything, whether it be contracts, it'll look at the old caboodle, if you like, the old shooting match. We're going to look at every single department, how the finances have worked, how they bought in, what we spend. We'll look at agency staff, like you say, contracts. We'll look at all that sort of thing and see if we can get better value for money for the people who's elected us. So then we can see where we are at a financial footing, because we're new to this administration, so we need to know where we are. We're definitely not looking at making any cuts. When people say, oh, you're badging it up differently, you're looking at efficiency, that means cuts. No, it don't. We're looking for efficiencies, and if we can improve services by saving money in one area and use it in another, for instance, we'll do that. And we will do what's best for us for the next 4 years. And for the residents. And we've got a lot of expertise, and 41 is a big number to run an administration, and we're going to use all that expertise within our group. We come from all sorts of backgrounds, whether it be lawyers, doctors, business people. We've got finance people within our group as well, and we're going to utilise all that expertise. So the residents have got nothing to worry about. I am very, very confident we're going to come out with some good outcomes with this financial review. We're going to look at it all. There's not something specific. I know at top of our list is highways, and obviously we've got an arm's length company called Veer, but £73 million is in the budget for that this year. We want to look is that being spent well, so we'll look at every department. Then obviously we've got a big childcare budget, we've got healthcare. We're going to look at everything, so and just make sure we're getting value for money for our residents, because at the end of the day it's those that pay for it. We want to see, we've got to deal with the LGA, but we're going to deal with that in a positive manner, because I think a lot of the residents, and I want to do some public consultation, because we're only just getting to know the nuts and bolts of it as councillors. It's how we articulate that to the residents, so they can get an idea and a full understanding of what's going to happen. Because as it is at the minute with the government legislation, we have got to become a unitary council within the next 4 years.
Conservative opposition leader, council leader Sam Smith says he fears the council could go backwards with plans to find efficiencies in the authority's finances, and said Reform inherited a council which had been transformed by the former Tory administration. Next, we are staying in West Bridgford, and we're about to talk about a big council planning meeting that could again see Nottingham Forest City Ground redevelopment given the green light. The club previously received planning permission to expand the Peter Taylor stand, and that decision was made in July of 2022. Now, though, almost identical plans are due before Rushcliffe Borough Council's planners next week, ahead of that original permission reaching its expiry date. Our local democracy reporter Joe Locker joins us now to tell us more. Joe, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So let's talk about these. What are the plans?
Good question. Yeah, it's been a long-running saga. This, Forest fans and football fans in general will be, I'd imagine, very, very familiar with these plans that were revealed way back in 2019. To a lot of support from the fans, of course. Now that Forest are in the Premier League, they're looking for bigger and better things. And as you mentioned before, outline planning permission was granted by Rushcliffe Borough Council in 2022. The plans are largely the same. So the Peter Taylor stand, which was originally built in 1965 and then rebuilt in 1968, that's going to be sort of built again in this, 5-floor huge, stand that'll cater for 10,000 people.
Wow.
So big old. It'll be the tallest at 38 metres in the entire city ground. On top of that, you're going to have bigger hospitality suites as well. Some of them, I think the planning documents mentioned, could cater for 1,200 people. And then also there's a plaza area and then a big 169 apartment residential block as well on the cards. That was reduced from 250 to sort of appease, the planners. So, yeah, big plans.
Now, here's the question that I think a lot of people are going to be asking. These plans were approved 3 years ago, back in 2022. Why are they going back for planning permission now?
Yeah, so, typically with council things, there's a lot of technicalities. So, planning permission typically lasts 3 years. So when planning permission is granted, the developer or, applicant has 3 years to start work and commence work and sort the details. Because of the extended period of time that has passed, it means they need to submit an application for fresh consideration by Rushcliffe Borough Council as the planning authority. And obviously, in those 3 years, the club has hit a number of hurdles and technicalities. So one is the Nottingham Rowing Club's Britannia Boathouse, which needs to be demolished, which sits on the banks of the River Trent. It needs to be demolished to, make way for the club's plans. But, the plans can't proceed without a replacement facility being built. So that's a technicality. That's, there's a legal agreement that's going to be signed. And also, obviously, Nottingham City Council were the landowners of the site as well. When the club was promoted to the Premier League, the City Council asked for a hike in rent, because of more money is coming in, basically. Negotiations then stalled because of this. There was sort of threats from Forest that they might move to Toton to open a new stadium.
I remember, yeah.
And then Councillor Nagat Khan was appointed leader at the City Council and negotiations seemed to recommence. And then eventually that land was sold earlier this year to the club and things have, been allowed to proceed.
So it all seems quite positive, but there are some councillors with a few issues on this, aren't there?
Yeah, of course. The big plans. This is a huge development in a residential area of West Bridgford. So, Councillor Richard and Sue Malinder for the Green Party, they're representing the Lady Bay area. They are concerned about the overdevelopment of the site, and also they say in the planning documents the already extremely congested Radcliffe Road and the Trent Bridge area. So,
I mean, it does get very, very busy on match day.
I used to live in West Bridgford, and it was, you could always hear the fans, but also, the traffic was quite, busy. So, there's been a couple more objections from local councillors. Some aren't supportive and aren't objecting. They're just sort of raising concerns about congestion, that sort of thing. So during the meeting next week, on Thursday, all these things will be discussed.
And just finally then, what are the club's future hopes?
Yeah, so club owner Marinakis, has before said in reports his sort of goal is to get the stadium to about 50,000 capacity. So whether we see that or not, it's a long time coming and still a long way away, I suppose. This development alone, the planning documents say is roughly going to cost about £130 million. So of course, any more extensions is going to cost a lot more money. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely, watch this space. Joe, thank you so much for joining us this
Pleasure.
afternoon, keeping us updated on that, and of course we will keep you updated as more happens with the forest redevelopment. Right, time for some more Notts News headlines. And nearly 3,000 women and girls have taken part in a police campaign aimed at making them feel more safe on the streets. Nottinghamshire Police launched its Walk in My Shoes campaign earlier this year to hear the experiences of women and girls, including areas they avoid and why and how they could be made safer. It's been backed by female running group These Girls Run, Nottingham Forest netball team and other local groups too. More than 2,700 people have now filled in the survey, which closes on Sunday. Next, an electric bike rider who suffered a suspected broken leg following a collision with a police car has been arrested for multiple driving offences in St Anne's. The crash happened on Marmion Road at about 3:15 on Thursday afternoon, with the e-bike rider hospitalised with a suspected broken leg, which isn't life-altering or life-threatening. An officer was also hospitalised for a precautionary check-up. Now, Nottinghamshire Police say the e-bike rider has been arrested on suspicion of dangerous driving and having no licence or insurance. Next, and a man who strangled his partner and set fire to a dog has been jailed for his inexcusable crimes. 53-year-old Paul Williamson also set fire to their living room carpet during a drunken rage at his home on Cooper Rise in Reneth back in January this year. The German Shepherd dog escaped serious injury, but the impact on his partner was profound and they have since separated. Williamson admitted to arson with intent to endanger life, 2 counts of intentional strangulation and causing unnecessary damage to a dog. He was jailed for 4 years. Right, time for a short break now, but when we get back, we're going to be finding out how you can get your family heirlooms valued with all proceeds supporting Age UK Notts. Plus, your weekend sports roundup too. All that and more coming up next. Hello, welcome back to Friday's show with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's what's happening in Notts today. First, and a chicken restaurant and bar in Beeston asking to serve alcohol into the early hours has had its licensing application rejected. Concerns were raised about the plans by C&B Brew Co to open a chicken restaurant with space for 70 diners because the applicant also had asked to serve alcohol until midnight as well as playing live and recorded music. But the plans were rejected during a licensing panel on Wednesday after Nottinghamshire Police concerns regarding antisocial behaviour and alcohol-related problems, and because the building doesn't have a lease. Next, Anna Group is looking to land funding to bring Newark Castle and its gardens to life. The site's ongoing multi-million-pound restoration began at the start of June and includes improvements to the castle's gatehouse, complete with an accessible ramp and galleries. Now extra cash is being sought for an interpretation project that would use artefacts, period furnishing, audio-visual techniques and replica features to help visitors better interpret what the castle would have been like hundreds of years ago. Moving on now, more than 1,000 school children have been taught vital road safety skills thanks to Nottinghamshire Police's specialist mini police programme. The scheme is designed to educate primary school pupils about policing and how to stay safe and has been tailored to Year 5 pupils learning about antisocial behaviour, understanding the law and promoting values of kindness, respect and inclusivity. And at a recent visit to Brierley Forest Primary School in Sutton, pupils also completed a workbook on different road safety measures. Take a look.
I feel safe around the police because, they can help you in any situation.
So mini police and educational background in terms of working with schools, we look at different elements within the police and we structure each lesson based upon what we do and what our roles and positions are. In today's lesson we are looking at road safety, so we're talking about different bits in the police, what we do in terms of speeding, monitoring behaviour in terms of road safety and seat belts and stuff like this. So we talk about lots of different elements to keep yourself safe.
So it's really important for children's confidence development because they have more of awareness of situations and then they will know what to do in situations in the future. They know about different areas of crime, different areas of how police work in the community. So it really helps them progress and move forward in terms of being that a positive citizen out in the public and not just in school as well.
It's really important to engage with young people at such an young age. I think building that foundation at such a young age, we can build on that in terms of stopping any crimes happening in the later future, ASB, and building relationships with them as well, so we can promote positive behaviour within the police. You see I'm out and about, and it's nice to build that relationship and shouting names and stuff like that, so keeping that positive behaviour with the police as well, it builds such good relationships, and hopefully in the long-term future it'll build more.
Well, it's time for our final guest of the week now, and who hasn't wondered about that family heirloom or that strange curio in the lounge? Well, now you've got the chance to have it valued by Bargain Hunt's the very brilliant James Lewis and his team of auctioneers at the Nuttall Temple Community Centre, where not only could you find your fortune, but raise money for a good cause too, as its evaluation proceeds will be supporting the work of Age UK Knots, who look to enhance the quality of life and well-being for all older people across the county. And here to tell us more is the charity's community fundraiser, Elaine Hopkins. Elaine, thank you so much for joining us today. This all sounds very exciting. Tell us what's going to be going on next Tuesday.
We're really excited about James coming. He's such a lovely man. He's going to come along with a team of valuers. People can come along, have a cup of coffee, a cake with us. And,
sounds great.
Yeah, they pay us £5 for that, which includes their first item valued by James or his team. And then if they want anything else valued, they pay an extra £2, and all that money comes back to Age UK Knots to spend on people within Nottinghamshire.
I mean, it just sounds brilliant. Have you got any idea what people are going to turn up with on Tuesday?
I've heard that somebody's bringing a clock, somebody else is bringing watches. You know, we're just really excited to see what comes out the attic.
And I think that's the thing. I think everybody, when you start to think about it, has got something that's maybe been passed down. And I've certainly got stuff. My mum's a terror. She will not throw anything away. And she'll say to me, do you know, that belonged to your great Uncle John, so don't get rid of it. And I think, well, I don't know what it is. I don't know how old it is. I don't know if it's valuable.
That's
and of course,
right. And here's the opportunity to do it.
Exactly. And you've always got that chance where James will be like, actually, that's worth a fortune.
Yes. And I think it's worth coming along just to meet James. He's such a lovely man, very personable. And, you know, you see him on the television, but it's lovely to meet him in real life.
And of course, as you say, excuse me, all the proceeds going towards Age UK, which is an incredible charity. Tell us more about the work that you do.
We're Age UK Nottinghamshire, so we're an independent charity within Nottinghamshire, and all the money that we raise is spent on Nottinghamshire people.
Brilliant.
We've been serving Nottinghamshire people for 83 years, and our main hopes for the people of Nottinghamshire is to keep them safe in the communities, living as long and as happy as possible in their own homes.
So what do you do to help people?
We do all sorts of things. We help people apply for benefits, and last year they claimed quite a lot of money in benefits for people that they didn't know they was entitled to. Help people with pension credits, blue badges, help people to find places to go if they're lonely. So we target social isolation. There's a huge range of services that Age UK Nottinghamshire do, and please look on our website. There is absolutely everything there, and a phone number to contact if you need help or advice. If we can't help, we can signpost to somebody that can.
And I think these things are so important, especially nowadays where everything seems to go a million miles an hour. And I think the older you get, if you've got to a situation where you need to start applying for benefits or care or anything like that, it's a minefield, isn't it?
I've looked at the attendance allowance forms, and they've took me 3.5 hours to fill them in, and I know what I'm doing with them. So it's very important, and our charity is very important, because with the money going up for national insurance, for minimum wage, and the cost of living crisis that people have been going, that you know, we're having to fundraise even harder because it's becoming harder. People haven't got the disposable income, so that's why we do these events, and we've got events throughout the year.
And I was going to say, if you want to find out more about the events that you've got going, I presume it's all on the website?
It's all on the website.
So remind us about this event on Tuesday. Can anybody turn up?
We prefer people to book in because if we get too many, we've only got a 2.5 hour slot where James and his team's there. So those that booked in will get priority.
Got you.
But anybody's welcome to turn up on the day, pay the £5 and sit and have a cup of coffee, watch James working and wait for their turn to come up.
I think this is the thing, it's also very exciting. You know, when you watch these shows on TV, even if it's someone you've never met and someone you're not interested in, when you start seeing people have things valued, it's really interesting.
Yes, and of course, if there's anything that people want to sell, they can sign a contract between James and he takes it back to his company and it goes under the hammer.
Oh, so if he goes, well, actually, that's worth 300 quid, you can give it to him and he'll sell it for you?
Yes, obviously he'll take his normal amount, but then he will make a donation to the charity as well.
Lovely. Well, a good fortune for a good cause. Are you going to have anything valued?
Yes, I am.
What have you got?
I've got a clock that was my father's. We've recently downsized, so I haven't got room for it. It's been in a cupboard since we moved, so I'm going to have that valued. And we've got a grandfather clock, so we're going to take a photograph of that one.
Yes, that's very sensible. Well, Elaine, I hope you find your fortune there next Tuesday. It sounds brilliant. So thank you so much for coming in and sharing that with us. We appreciate it. We hope it goes really well on Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right, so it is time for your sport now, and we are starting with cricket and the Notts Outlaws, who've lost again in the Vitality Blast after being defeated by 4 wickets against local rivals, the Leicester Foxes. The Foxes chased 157 with 14 balls to spare after the Outlaws were bowled out for 156. It's the side's 5th loss in 8 matches so far in the Blast, leaving them 7th in the North Group. Speaking after the defeat, Outlaw Calvin Harrison said it was a disappointing result.
Yeah, it's been a difficult sort of up and down block really. We've shown some really good stuff at times, had some really good run chases. Obviously we've shown what we can do, just unfortunately tonight was another one of those nights where it didn't quite work all around really. So yeah, across the board we were just a little bit untidy, I guess. But another chance tomorrow, hopefully finish this little block with a win before the 4-day stuff starts again. So, coming in with the ball, we know we assessed the wicket, knew what we wanted to try and do. We executed it in patches, but probably not the full 20 or however many we ended up bowling.
Sticking with cricket, the Blaze are having more luck in their Vitality Blast campaign after they maintained their unbeaten record to beat Lancashire by 5 wickets. England captain Nat Sciver-Brunt starred for the Blaze by scoring 31 from 25 balls, with Georgia Elwes also making 43 runs from 30 balls to help the Blaze to a victory with 10 balls to spare. Wonderful. This result means the side have won 5, tied 1 and had no results in other of their opening 7 games. And next up for the Blaze is a game with the Bears later on today, and we will have the results for that one on Monday's show. And in ice hockey, the Nottingham Panthers have set out their full pre-season fixtures list, including a home match against Coventry Blaze in September. Danny Stewart will face off against his old side on September the 6th to close off their pre-season campaign. Other matches include a clash with Concordia University in the GM Memorial Trophy and an away trip to Manchester Storm, as well as a match with the Armians, with all of those in August. Plus, they're also travelling to Cardiff Devils one day before that pre-season game with Coventry at the Motorpoint Arena. Time for your Friday picture of the day. And look at this, taking a lovely sunny stroll at Clumber Park. Thank you so much to Steve Plewinski for this one. And don't forget, if you want to see your pictures on the telly, you can send them to us via your socials at @Notts_TV. And weather-wise now, we just saw a lovely sunny photo, and the sunshine is exactly what we were in for over the weekend. Even though it's been a little bit cloudy today, we have seen highs of 30 degrees, but that will be cooling down to 17 tonight. Tomorrow is going to be the longest day of the year, as well as the hottest, again with a high of 30 degrees, so make sure you stay shaded and hydrated. We've also got yellow warnings for thunderstorms in the evening, which will cut some of that heat. As for Sunday, expect some sunny spells with a high of 25 and a low of 12. And that's it. It's the end of the show and the end of the shows for the week. Thanks always to all of our great guests. Mark Dennison is back same time on Monday to guide you into a new week. But until then, from everyone on the team, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.